Hi, welcome to Schulte Sweeties YouTube channel. My name is Stephanie and I'm a mom of 3 girls ages 12, 8, and 6. We are in our 7th year of homeschooling right now. So today I thought it would be kind of fun to share a video about our spelling journey. I have seen other people sharing about their math journey of how they've switched curriculum and trying to find a good fit. And that is us for spelling. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, we cannot find a groove. I don't know. It's just so hard. So I thought I would go through quickly today about the different options that we've tried through the years. I have 2 students that have been working on spelling through the years. And then as weeks go by, I will be sharing videos of flip throughs and things so that you can check them out a little bit further. I am not really gonna do much of a flip through. I'm just gonna show you and tell you a little bit of why it worked, it didn't work for us, and about the cost, because I think that's important. Spelling curriculum can range from cheap, like $10. Some of it you can find for free, or it can be like $50 or up to $100. So it's very costly. And so I think that's important to keep in mind as you're trying to find spelling. So for my oldest, who is in 7th grade currently, we have done different curriculums such as The Good and the Beautiful and master books that had some spelling included, but it just never worked out. I was not great at trying to find creative activities for her to do to practice it, so then it would just be not practiced. We'd forget about the words when we were doing the master books language arts because it was at the end of the week, and then it was a lot. So one of the things, I don't have it with me, that we did switch to was Evan Moore's spelling. It was daily spelling skills. And that was okay. It's pretty cheap. It's like about $20-ish at the most, and then you sometimes find it cheaper. So it was just a workbook. You're kind of just doing a daily activity in a workbook. The words weren't too hard, and so I think that was a little bit of a weird thing. They were pretty easy words. So then one of the next things that we switched to, I don't know, I'm hoping I'm telling you all of it, was Spelling You See. And this is from that Deme Learning. This comes with 2 workbooks, 2 student workbooks. This is part 2 of it. Then it also comes with a teacher's book. And usually if you buy it new, you get some colored pencils that erase as well. So if you aren't familiar with this, this is when you are finding the different chunks that you're supposed to color, and then you're doing copy work over here. And that's pretty much what you're doing each day, is finding stuff, coloring it in, and copy work. This was not a hit in our house. We don't do a lot of copy work, and so to put this in, it was just too much. It was overwhelming, kind of with the situation too. We had a curriculum that was a little bit more involved with writing, and so it was just too much, and it just wasn't a big fun thing in our house. So, and this is pretty costly. It's about $50, I believe, $40 to $50 for the set for each level, because you are getting all the workbooks and things. So it is kind of costly for an option of spelling. So this was not a hit in our house. The next year we did switch to 180 days spelling and word study. And I don't know, I think this was a good fit, and I think she did enjoy this for the most part. This I do like because it's not just spelling, it is spelling and vocabulary. So they are really working on learning more about the words. The lists are pretty long. These were the words. And then she did this analogy page. So each lesson kind of had a few pages in there where you were doing the different word work and stuff for that. These are fairly inexpensive, I believe under $20 workbooks, and you can find them most places. And this was a pretty good deal, but we were let's see what else there is. And one of the things that we have switched to this year in her 7th grade year was IEW Phonetic Zoo. If you are looking to buy this new, this is pretty costly. I think it's around $100. You can get the CDs or do the streaming audio. But I was able to find it used. So that is the key. If you can find this used at like online or at like a sale or something, definitely go for that. So it has CDs, and then you go through the list. Basically, you're testing through the list. I started her on A because we had never used this before. Started her on A, and like she just tests, and every day you test, and then if you get 2 days where you've missed none, then you can move on to the next list. And it's worked okay. Although this is one thing that we just kind of skip because she is actually a really good speller. So honestly, we might just not do much spelling with her anymore because she has picked up on it through the years. So I'm not really that concerned about her spelling anymore. And so we'll see if we keep continuing this or not. Like if I see that she's struggling with spelling, then we might pull this back out. But now moving on to my middle daughter. She has really struggled with her spelling. You know, she's a really great reader, but I could always tell, like, you know, she's trying to sound things out and it just is not right. So we have really started, I think, last year in her 2nd grade year, trying to get her spelling. So one of the things I worked on with her, I think it was during a summer, maybe the summer before her 2nd grade year, was Evan Moore Spell and Write. Now this is a colorful version, and they are really kind of working on some writing skills and spelling. It wasn't like too in-depth or anything, but she didn't really love that one. So we did switch her to Evan Moore Spelling, the Building Daily Spelling Skills, and that worked pretty good for her. Words were kind of easier and stuff, so I was like, maybe there's something else that we can use that maybe will challenge her more. And I was really excited. I actually purchased the old version of All About Spelling used. I purchased it used. Well, I knew that they were coming out with a new one. I was like, maybe we should wait. And so we purchased All About Spelling, the colorful version, and we were so excited. Even she was excited. She uses All About Reading. She's on level 4 now. We did start her on level 1, which maybe that was my mistake. I'm not sure. So we started her on this, and another thing that I didn't do was I did not prep it because I think I got it right around when school was starting and it was kind of chaotic. And I didn't prep it like I do with my All About Reading program, with I prep it and put it in a binder, and so it's pretty much open and go. So I was cutting every day and then losing pieces a lot of times, and I was just like stressed out. Then one of the things that they have for the activities, they have word searches like every day, and it was just getting tedious. And then also like the games, like the game pieces and stuff didn't actually have the words on them. So we had to prep those, and it was just like, So this just ended up being a struggle for us. It was not open and go. I'm sure many people love the new version. I hear a lot of rave reviews about the old version. It was not a fit for us. And this is kind of a costly, especially with now using the colored version. It is pretty high in expenses too. You get quite a bit with it, but especially if you are using like the lower level and like you're moving pretty quickly, you're gonna have to purchase maybe more than one level for a school year if you're moving pretty quick with like an older student or something. I think they're right around like $40 to $50-ish at least. So you're spending quite a bit of money on this. And so we were like, we've got to find something different. So then I went back to the drawing board in the fall, and I was like, what are we going to use? And so I came across this. It's Mrs. Wordsmith Spelling, Foolproof Spelling. This is a PDF, I believe, only on their website. If you are familiar with like the Mrs. Wordsmith, like vocabulary studies, they have vocabulary words, they have funny like little drawings. And so I actually received this for free. I'm going to do a review on it and everything. It has a few words. What got me, I was like, as I was looking through it, it just didn't give me a lot of information. The people did tell me to start on level 3 for her grade. They said she'll be able to figure it out. I'm like, okay. And so they have like 3 levels. It's kind of confusing to me. The words seemed pretty difficult too. And so I was like, well, I didn't want to start this and pretty much not know exactly what I'm doing. And then also, I didn't want to discourage her if I didn't think that some of these words would be easy for her, and I didn't want to discourage her into like not knowing how to do it, like committed, and then we have ear splitting. Let's see if I can find some other words. It looks fun. So like inedible and impenetrable, like I can barely say that word. So I was like, some of these words are so difficult, and I feel like this is like a fun extra, but I didn't think that this would be a great fit for our curriculum. I will say that Mrs. Wordsmith is pretty cheap. I think it was like between $10 and $20 on their website, and they actually have another like extra thing you could add on, I think for $10. And you get, at least at that point, you were getting some free months of their app that they have, which I thought would be really cool to do the app with this. We didn't end up using it, but it was a really fun app to use. So then I was like, what are we gonna use? And right around that time, someone nearby was actually giving this away. And I had used this, I forgot, I used it with my oldest. I used several of these with my oldest as well. So I had used this with her previously, and it is basically you're doing several pre-tests to find out where you are supposed to be. And then that's where you start your word list. And you're doing several words a day. And if there are a few that you mess up on, that's what the words are that you practice for a day or two, and then you do another test, see what you can go through. But it was kind of boring for my daughter, but I thought that this really taught me that she does really well with pre-test and post-test. She does really good when she is tested on her things instead of just learning the rules or things like that. So this is, I bought it, well, I actually got it free, but you can find this pretty cheap, $10, $15, usually used somewhere. It is a little bit more costly if you're buying it brand new. And I think some of them do come with like a disc for more information. There is a lot of like, you have to figure out like reading as a parent to figure out how to use this. I will do a whole flip through in coming weeks on how to use this as well. I learned from other YouTubers how to kind of fit it in for our family. So I thought this was still a hit, but wasn't quite the right fit. Then I heard from a company, and we have previously used it for handwriting, so I was like excited to try this out. We received this during like a social media campaign. I did like a little short for it. Was a reason for spelling. This is the student workbook, and then you get a very thick teacher's guide that you need to have. Together it costs quite a bit, I think $40 to $50 as well. And you need the teacher's guide. It has the answers, it has the sentences for dictation, it has these extra reading stories that they suggest you do, all sorts of, even some directions on how to play some of the games in here. This workbook is very colorful. It has like, there is a page for like a pre-test, and then they have like different activities for you to do. One thing I loved was they do have like different ways to do more like different ways of learning for like spell your words with pictures, spell your words out loud, spell your words with pipe cleaners for different learners. I loved that. There's just a few games on here that were like, oh, I don't really know how to play them. Some activities, like this one does not really give you the instructions unless you look in the teacher's guide. They do have some journaling. It was a lot, and they do break it up in the teacher's guide of how to break it up in a day, but it could be a lot that you're focusing on each day just for this spelling. And I thought, this is not really what I want to do in our spelling, to really focus so much on spelling that we're not getting anything else done each day. It is a great option. The word list also does not really make sense, like doesn't tie in together necessarily. And so that was another thing, like, okay, it's just a bunch of random words. So that was a little bit like, I think there were high frequent words, you know, but wasn't quite what I was looking for still. And so we move on to what we are using currently with my middle daughter is Jack Chris Soaring with Spelling and Vocabulary. I actually did use this. I didn't say this either. I used this with my oldest years ago too, and I had forgotten that I did actually really like the simplicity of this. And then it reminded me when Davine at Calm in the Chaos and Nikki at Blessed Homeschool Mess both talked about winning with writing from Jack Chris Publishing. And I was like, oh yeah, I really did like this. And I'm like, I think this is going to be great. My daughter will say that it's not necessarily her favorite, but like it's quick and easy. She does the spelling work. It has pages for pre-test and post-test during the school week. And then it has like fun activities. So here's like this is a pre-test day, and then they move on to their lesson. They're broken down by days. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then day 5 is your post-test. We're just doing 3 days worth of pages in there to help them practice. And I have actually really seen an improvement in her words where she is really thinking about it during those testing times. And I can tell it is paying off in her other work when she is spelling. So I have really been happy with this and really pleased. The work is also like you are doing some vocabulary, like definitions. There are, like on the first day, it has the words written down in manuscript and in cursive and the definitions. So that is like helpful as well. And the word lists are not too overwhelming, 10 words each day. I think as the levels get higher, they do increase the word list as well. I have been happy with this. We got this and a teacher's guide where it has the answers in there and like the words that I need to test her on. And I think it was like around $20. So it was a pretty low cost, and this is non-religious. So if you have like a charter or something that you need non-religious items, this is non-religious, but it has actually been a really great fit for us, especially since she does well when she is tested on those words. You hate to say that because like that's how I learned spelling is like I learned from testing each week, but some kids actually it really works for them. So I am excited that this is working, and this is what we're sticking with for now. At least I have no plans to change anytime soon. So stay tuned for all of my videos. I'm going to try to do as many as I can of these flip throughs. Let me know if there's a specific one that you would like to learn more about, and then I will for sure get those out. And I thank you for joining me today, and like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.